Hey guys, this is Nirupam with the Underwater Photography Guide and Bluewater Photo. Now I'm here today in the field with the new GoPro Hero 12. Now as you guys know, GoPro comes out with a new model every year. The Hero 12 has a few exciting upgrades that I do think make it worth upgrading to if you are an underwater video shooter. Now you might see I've got all these accessories from Enon, but here is the 12. And it is the same shape as the GoPro 11. So in case you were wondering, can you use the GoPro 12 with other 11 underwater housings? You can use GoPro Hero 11 underwater accessories and housings with the GoPro Hero 12. It's actually very similar to the GoPro 11 in that it has a 1/1.9 inch sensor with I believe an 8:7 aspect ratio, which is a slightly different aspect ratio than the Hero 10, and that allows the camera to have excellent stabilization. I believe they're at hypersmooth 6.0 now, and I can tell you it's very smooth. It's almost like having the camera on a gyroscope, and that's awesome when I'm filming underwater because it's just so smooth going through the footage, especially with these new macro lenses that I'm testing out from Enon. So at Bluewater Photo, we do offer lots of GoPro accessories, including these Enon accessories, and make sure you check us out. Now, before I get into this review, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. That always helps get our content out there and pushes it for the YouTube algorithm. And with that, I'm just gonna give you some of my thoughts about shooting with the GoPro Hero 12, why I think it could be worth upgrading to. If you have a 10, I'm not so sure about the 11. I mean, there are benefits and cons as well. So going into that, so far I've done a few dives here in the Pacific Northwest, and I'm gonna be doing some more dives with the Hero 12. Now the camera is waterproof down to 30 feet, but as you know with scuba diving, you do need an underwater housing to go to greater depths. The underwater housing that we sell from GoPro goes to, I believe, about 130 feet, so recreational dive depths. However, we also sell housings from Isoda, Anglerfish, Rexy that all go a little bit deeper, even some of them down to the 800-900 foot range if you are a tech diver or you have some specific applications. Make sure you reach out to us and we can help you find the right stuff for the right applications. We sell a lot of different GoPro trays. This year's the Enon tray. We have some from Kraken, from Ultralight, and that's a great option for having stabilization while you're shooting. I love holding the trays when I'm underwater. It allows you to get really stable footage, and when I'm filming underwater, I really like to kind of hold the GoPro as if I am a tripod, and I just like to let subjects go in and out of the frame. Now, autofocus can be a little bit tough in that less than 1 foot range when you are shooting GoPro, so we do have macro lenses from Enon that allow you to move that focusing range back a little bit. So the current lens that we have is the Enon G165 Mark II. This lens is great for macro shooting. You want to put your camera in a narrow field of view so that you can get really close to the subject, and it allows you to get nice, close, get crisp shots and still focus within that 1 foot range and even a little bit closer. Now, the two prototypes I'm testing are the G100 and the G55. It stands for the focusing range of the lens, and the smaller the number, the more powerful it is. So the G100 is actually twice the power of the G165, and the G55 is twice the power of that. I was just shooting this last night, and I was getting some amazing super macro footage as you're seeing right now in my clips. So make sure you check out this lens because this is a huge improvement not only for Enon but for GoPro shooters in general. If you don't have this lens, you really should consider it if you are a macro shooter, and I'm really stoked to be using it right now. Okay, so let's talk about the quality of the footage. As I said before, the sensor on the GoPro Hero 12 is larger than the 10. That means you can get nice crisp shots and still get pretty good quality footage even in dark situations when you're using higher ISOs on your camera, and even if your camera's doing automatic ISOs, at higher ISOs it's going to be less grainy and more clear than with the GoPro Hero 10. With the 11, the image quality is still the same, so what's really the difference when you're moving to the 12? Well, it's the battery life. At 5.3K, the battery life is about, I believe it's an hour and a half, which is more than enough if you're only filming small sections. So I can get a full day of diving with the GoPro Hero 12 versus the 11 is kind of notorious for not having great battery life because you do have a larger sensor and more processing going on. So if you are thinking about upgrading from the 10, definitely go from the 12. If you are frustrated with the battery life you're getting from the 11, definitely go to the 12. But if you're not frustrated with the 11, you might not really need to go to the 12 because the image quality difference is not super huge, but it is there. For all of you Instagram shooters out there, the GoPro 12 does have some interesting vertical video features. The 11 does not. So if you are a content creator, you might want to consider the 12 over the 11. And you might even consider that upgrade. But other than the battery life and the vertical features, there's not too much of a difference from the GoPro 11 to the 12. That said, if you do have another version of the GoPro, you're gonna get a significant improvement in image quality and stabilization, as well as battery life when you are shooting the 12. Now, one question I always get is what kind of lights do I need when I'm taking a GoPro underwater, and do I need filters? For those of you that don't know, when you're shooting underwater, when you're filming underwater, you do lose light at depth, so you lose colors as well. As you go down, you start to lose your reds, then your oranges, then your yellows, and you're left with blue light, and you really need video lights or filters to bring back that color. Now, I was just at DEMA, and I talked to the guys at GoPro, and they confirmed, yes, their white balance is so good now that if you just put your GoPro on auto white balance, you do not need filters. So I'm not gonna sell you on filters, you don't need them. But what does help is if you get underwater video lights, then you add a lot more color back than any kind of white balance correction can do. So I really love shooting with underwater video lights. You can see my footage here is really nice and colorful, and that's what's doing it, it's these video lights. In general, I think having video lights between 2,000 lumens and 4,000 lumens is good enough for GoPro. I like to have 2 video lights when I'm shooting. That allows me to get some nice contrast, some different kind of lighting, and it allows you to get creative. So I prefer having 2 kind of smaller lumen lights rather than 1 large light with a lot of light. Now, if you only want to get 1 light or only can get 1 light, you know, the more lumens the better, especially when you're doing wide angle video. But if you're just doing macro, and with the GoPro in general, you don't need 6,000 or 10,000 lumens. You're good in the 2,000 to 4,000 range, but it's nice to have 2 of them for sure. So there you have it, guys. That's my quick initial review of the GoPro Hero 12. I'm gonna have a lot more content coming out to you soon with reviews and also just underwater settings questions about the GoPro Hero 12. So stay tuned for that. Take a look at the cool Enon lenses. That's the G165, the G100, the G55, as well as the G140 wide angle lens, which gives you a 140-degree field of view. Make sure you check us out for all your GoPro accessories. Like I said before, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below. Send us an email at sales@bluewaterphotostore.com. We'll get you set up. And with that, guys, I'll see you out there diving with the GoPro 12.